And these Oblivion Gates open once again. Welcome in, everyone. I am playing some more For Honor, testing out my new favorite, the Centurion. With the newest DLC adding the Shinobi and the Centurion, I had to try them out and instantly fell in love with the Centurion. So I made this compilation pretty much to show off just how freaking awesome he can be. Fighting with that one-handed Gladius and stabbing it through people's hearts is one of my favorite things. And as you can see here, we're taking on this Berserker, who is going to be a lot quicker than we are, but really the Centurion has a lot better defense and stamina, so we can kind of play it off, you know, take those hits, but then come back with this revenge and do that lion's charge jump right into the chest. Push him down, get on top, thrust it in. It's the way it goes. But really been having a blast with the new DLC. Super stoked to see what else Ubisoft announces for the next patch. I really love any of the fighters I can pick up, play with for a couple hours and have a good time. Just turns out that the Centurion might just be a little OP. The Shinobi has some OP stuff too, but really just garbage life, garbage defense. I mean, any character can take on a Shinobi and 2-3 hits, it's game over. Where the Centurion can last a lot longer and has that more power heavy attack. And yeah, if you have those quick characters, they're going to get a couple of hits in, but it's not going to really matter much. The Centurion also has some great pushing, really great maneuvers, switching the Gladius between hand to hand. Just some really cool stuff that I hopefully can show you all in this video here. We've already won the first 2 rounds against this Berserker. Not hard at all. And I love that the Centurion does that. Punches. You throw the Gladius and then you throw in a punch or two. And, okay, see, so the Berserker pushed us off the ledge. That's not even, like, anyone can do that. Anyone can push someone off and it's an instant death, you know? So, not really fair there. I want to show off here how well the Centurion can push. It's not the best, but definitely one of the better ones. Very, you know, power heavy, hybrid type class. Has that far push. You can even save up his attacks, do like the lunging kicks and the lion charges and stuff, and really close the distance between you and your opponent and go straight into a combo with some lights and then finish off with a heavy, or even go into a punching match. So there we go. When their stamina's down, his push will knock them down, and when they're on the floor, you go for that jump. And there was a fairly large push there. That was, you know, really nice. If you grab anyone from that area, you know, you can get them the, you know, 5 feet to that sudden death. So now we move on to this Dominion match here, where I kind of was just wrecking everybody. This Kensei came up to me, trying to take me on, and then we got the Conqueror coming up on my left side too, but we're gonna make them both back off with revenge mode. You know, I always set up characters like this hybrid class to have quick revenge gathering, just so I can activate it and get right into, especially with the Centurion, when you're in revenge mode, you push and it's an instant fall. So when they're on the ground, you can do that lion's jump and shove your Gladius into them. My favorite taunt right there. Shove it into them, whether it's frontwards or backwards, and then do your little cheering taunts and slice their head off while they're trying to pull it out. But don't worry about all the sexual innuendos going on right now. Don't even worry about it. You know, playing Dominion, love anyone's light attacks except for the Warlords against minions like that. Just because the Warlord only has the 1 slash kind of shield push thing. But everyone else like dances around him and it looks really cool in combos. So we've already shown off what the Centurion can do to Berserkers, but here's another one in this Dominion match trying to take me on. And it's just really not fair for them because their life is too small, and as soon as they're down, you just get that jump charge. Now this Conqueror, he being a heavy, he has better defense and better life, so he can be a formidable opponent, especially with his shield. In earlier videos, I showed off with the Nobushi how to take on a Conqueror like a pro. Still trying to get around him with the Centurion. Really, it's about using those push kicks and punches to get around that shield blocking and then go in for the attack with some like lights and heavies and stuff. But overall, I mean, there's always a strategy against anyone that you go up against to fight. And you just got to find your way to play each individual person. I mean, if I take my Centurion against another one, we know what they're capable of, especially in an experienced player. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win the match every single time. You know, and neither would I. We could both have our own strategies, even though there is only so many combos with each of the characters. There's different ways to pull them off and different ways to time your attacks. And that's just what you have to play, is those strengths to what you know can happen from your opponent, and then come back with a better way to execute it or a different approach to doing so. And that's really what For Honor is about. I mean, you're going to go online, you're going to fight as a team, you got to hold your own and keep up your line of defense. Otherwise, your team will fail because it becomes a 3v4 instead of a 4v4 if you're taking out the equation, not doing your part. Of course, in Dominion, taking A, C, B, all the bases is game, and then earning those points to win the match. You know, so it's just take it, control it, defend it, and continue moving on to each one. Really, when you have a good game and you're against weaker opponents, it's a lot of fun to get into the mess and just really kind of gank everyone. And I love my taunts. I love, you know, showboating just exactly what I can do with the Centurion. He's a great character. I think they did a great job making him, and he's a lot of fun to play as. Really, he's a powerhouse. He can be quick. He's not too agile, but he makes up for it with those, you know, Gladius, like pretty much creating it and using it as an extension of himself. I feel like he does that better with his sword than a lot of these characters. Like the Berserker here, for example, just kind of flails around the axes and it doesn't feel as smooth, where the Gladius is more like you have, whether you're holding it in your right or left, your opposite arm is used for punching, and the one holding the Gladius is more for punching as well, but then you have that extra extension where he really makes it a fluid extension of himself, and it really just comes out on top in 90% of my experience in the fights. If I run into another Centurion or anyone faster than me, I come away on top. It's very rare that they put me down first. You know, we saw I got pushed that last game and fell. That's an instant death. So that's just what happens in those situations. But as long as you can stay away from that and either get the better push on top of them or just play more strategically than what I was in that last one, and you're going to come out on top. The Centurion's a great character to play as. Really, he's classified as a hard character to learn. I can kind of see that just because he has those combos. But if you can memorize, you know, if you're going to push square, then go into like R1, R1, square, R2 kind of thing. Or if you do just a heavy R2 and then come back with a square, you know, it's really not that hard to memorize those and put those into practice. Memorizing when to execute them is a little more difficult, and knowing like the length of his charge attacks, his jump attacks, his lunges, that can be kind of harder than, say, if you were to pick up and play like an Orochi or something, where you can just, you know, quickly get down those button moves. And the Orochi has a very short burst of attack, where it's just easy to learn that and have that. So I could see the Centurion being slightly harder than that. But if you were to say, like, pick up this game and this is your first time playing and you wanted to try the Centurion out, as long as you watch the quick, like, 30-second videos that they have for his basic and, like, advanced move sets, and you just remembered a couple of them, you know, like R1, R1, R2, R1, 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 R2 or something, you know, like, you could just easily go into a match, come away positive still, maybe go like 5-3, so like not your best game. You'll learn about the lion charges and the jump attacks and the thrusting the gladius through, and so I really don't see him being that hard of a character to just pick up and play, where the shinobi is definitely a harder character to learn. So maybe I'll pick up the shinobi, I'll put more practice into it and create a video with it to kind of show off what it can do as well, but it's not as fun for me as the Centurion. The shinobi does have some cool stuff, you know, throwing that chain around, picking up people, jumping at people, teleporting away. That looks cool, but when I pick up my controller, it's not as fun as, you know, choosing the Centurion class. So here we are in another game of Dominion, just kind of mowing down those minions there, you know, trying to help secure mid, and then staying close to the other A and C that we have on lock. Really want to make sure that if any of the opposing team goes to those locations, you can instantly get there and either stop it from being completely taken or push them out so that you can keep control of it. I'm playing with a really nice team right now. These are randoms, but I got in a good group of guys that we really were able to hold strong and keep our opponents at bay. Also, you know, always go into a bot fight when choosing a new class. I would definitely recommend that. You know, that way you can kind of try out some stuff without being completely overloaded. And then after you get comfortable with that character, go online in a real PvP match, and then put that to practice and really, you know, start helping out your team in a better way. And what I just did there was one of the tiered strength abilities that you can unlock as you level up in a match of Dominion, where I essentially heal myself, or put a defensive stamina bar on myself and my teammates. Any teammate that is up and standing when I utilize that takes advantage of it as well, and so you can see those yellow stamina bars above their white, and so it's just a cool thing to do. The Centurion has really unique abilities to help be a tank and control the area. So thanks for listening. I got to test out my new mic here. It was a great time. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it sounds great.